Okay, hello everyone. Today is Saturday, February the 18th, and we will be continuing in our study of the book of Enoch. Andre, would you like to take it away? You can take it away with prayer. You can ask somebody else to pray. You can just give us some background, however you want to, however you're ready to do it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, first of all, would anyone else like to pray us into this journey today?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
yes.
There we go.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to welcome everyone to this group today. We're so guided to know that in this prayer can help you. So dear Heavenly Father, we ask that you come to all of us and in us give us strength. And with this strength, we can walk up to everyone in the world with love, with joy and peace. And when we're healed, we say we're healed also in our mind, in our spirit, in our soul. So as we walk today, as we work tomorrow, we'll walk in the newness of all life today. We're blessed just to be alive. Amen.
Amen.
All right, thank you. Well, we're starting again, like as we were told for our introduction, that we are studying the book of Enoch. And we are just about to get into some meat of the bones of certain things. So would anyone like to say anything as far as where they know that we had left
Well, I can, because Enoch is still very confusing to me. I'm just trying to figure out what what am I learning? How do I, I guess comprehend the information. We got we got this, large cast of characters. We have, God, we have angels, we have watchers, we have the righteous, we have the unrighteous or the evil. I can't remember which one it was. Then we have the Nephilim. So we have so many things that we are looking into, and I'm just trying to figure out how each of the characters kind of relate to me in where I am in my life at this particular point in time. Am I being a Nephilim? Is some things that I have created in my life, causing and wreaking havoc somewhere, or how are the watchers, reflecting on, my soul growth. So there's a lot of things that I'm, just trying to figure out. So that's why I'm so excited about this book.
Okay, all right. Forrest, Miss Harriet, do you have any comments, any questions before we get started with the video?
Not from me right now.
Okay. All right.
I'm still trying to, like Benny said, I'm still trying to comprehend it all.
Okay.
I just forgot my notebook. Yeah, like I'm not gonna need to take notes.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get the video started. Please feel free to let me know if this is a little too unfamiliar, and we can kind of set it back a little bit to make sure that we all are on the same page as well. So just to throw that one out. Okay. So we'll go ahead and get the video started, and I hope you all understand where we're coming from. And then we can go ahead and, do a couple minutes and then discuss what we've digested.
Okay, so you're gonna let me know when to stop, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right, here we go. Nope. Gotta make sure I press the right button.
Chapter 14.
What happened?
The book of the words of
How we get to
righteousness
14?
And of the reprimand of the eternal watchers in a court.
What happened to 9 and 10? What happened there?
Okay, well, we can definitely go back.
Maybe I went up. Oh, did I go? What happened to 9 and 10? Were we on 14? Were we on chapter 14? Because this, okay, wait a minute. I see. 22 minutes. Okay. But maybe this is, I don't know why it keeps doing this. 21:47. 21:50. Okay, so this is as good as it's going to get. All right, we start here. This is the beginning of a chapter anyway.
The book of the words of righteousness and of the reprimand of the eternal watchers in accordance with the command of the Holy Great One in that vision. I saw in my sleep what I will now say with the tongue of flesh and with the breath of my mouth, which the Great One has given to men to converse therewith and understand with the heart. As he has created and given to man the power of understanding the word of wisdom, so hath he created me also, and given me the power of reprimanding the watchers, the children of heaven. I wrote out your petition, and in my vision it appeared thus, that your petition will not be granted unto you throughout all the days of eternity, and that judgment has been finally passed upon you. Yea, your petition will not be granted unto you. And from henceforth you shall not ascend into heaven unto all eternity. And in bonds of the earth the decree has gone forth to bind you for all the days of the world. And that previously you shall have seen the destruction of your beloved sons, and ye shall have no pleasure in them, but they shall fall before you by the sword. And your petition on their behalf shall not be granted, nor yet on your own, even though you weep and pray and speak all the words contained in the writing which I have written. And the vision was shown to me thus. Behold, in the vision, clouds invited me, and a mist summoned me. And the course of the stars and the lightnings sped and hastened me. And the winds in the vision caused me to fly and lifted me upward and bore me into heaven. And I went in till I drew nigh to a wall which is built of crystals and surrounded by tongues of fire. And it began to affright me. And I went into the tongues of fire and drew nigh to a large house which was built of crystals. The walls of the house were like tessellated floor made of crystals, and its groundwork was of crystal. Its ceiling was like the path of the stars and the lightnings, and between them were fiery cherubim, and their heaven was clear as water. A flaming fire surrounded the walls, and its portals blazed with fire. I entered into that house, and it was hot as fire and cold as ice. There were no delights of life therein. Fear covered me, and trembling got hold upon me. And as I quaked and trembled, I fell on my face. And I beheld a vision, and lo, there was a second house, greater than the former, and the entire portal stood open before me, and was built of flames of fire, and in every respect so excelled in splendor and magnificent and extent that I cannot describe to you its splendor and its extent. And its floor was of fire, and above it were lightnings and the path of the stars, and its ceiling also was flaming fire. I looked and saw therein a lofty throne. Its appearance was as crystal, and the wheels thereof as the shining sun. And there was the vision of cherubim. And from underneath the throne came streams of flaming fire, so that I could not look thereon. And the great glory sat thereon, and his raiment shone more brightly than the sun, and was whiter than any snow. None of the angels could enter and behold his face, by reason of the magnificence and glory, and no flesh could behold him. The flaming fire was round about him, and a great fire stood before him, and none around could draw nigh him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him, yet he needed no counselor. And the most holy ones who were nigh to him did not leave by night, nor depart from him. And until then, I had been prostrate on my face, trembling. And the Lord called me with his own mouth and said to me, Come hither, Enoch, and hear my word. And one of the holy ones came to me and waked me and made me rise up and approach the door. And I bowed my face downwards. Chapter 15.
Can I
Can we
ask a
stop right
question?
there? Yep. Yep. We can stop right there. Yep.
Wait a minute. Okay. I give myself, we can't stop. I don't know.
Yeah. We can definitely stop right there.
That was a lot. Okay.
Mhm.
First of all, can you tell me who the Watchers are again? Who are the Watchers?
Okay, the Watchers are, for a lack of a better word, angels, or beings that are not from, were not created on the earthly plane.
Mhm. Okay.
So whether it be angels or spirits or however, you want to look at it, it's, for a lack of a better word, is just to say, actually, I don't want to go the alien route, but they weren't created when we were created. It's an older species than what we are.
Okay. Okay. So are they part of the ones who had the relations with the women? Because why are they being reprimanded?
They are
They are the ones.
They are the fathers. Yeah, they are the fathers of the Nephilim.
They are the fathers of the Nephilim.
Yeah.
So it's not. So they're not the fallen angels.
They're the fallen. They're the ones who fell that time.
Oh, okay.
They're not Lucifer's fallen angels.
Right.
But
okay.
they are the fallen.
They are also fallen. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So they're not Lucifer. So they're okay.
Yeah. The devil. If you notice, the devil, Satan, or you do not hear those words in these texts, because this is, first of all, be after the fact of the matter.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Because you say they're the ones who they were the sons of God who had relations with the women.
Yeah, they weren't trying to overthrow. They weren't trying to overthrow. They disobeyed.
Right. But I mean,
you weren't supposed to have that contact with humans.
Right. So they were the sons of God. Like it says in Genesis, that the sons of God had relations with took the earthly women. Okay, so they're the sons of God, the Watchers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so that's what they're being reprimanded for.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the one that I find funny about it, because I find it odd that they could not themselves speak to God as close as they were to, as close as they were, they could not, and as powerful as they were, they no longer had the ability to have God's ear. So eventually they were very similar to being on our plane, for the way I'm looking at it. Not necessarily that they were not stronger or smarter or could age differently, if you want to go there, but but being on our plane, they did not have God's ear. They couldn't speak to him. And the only person who could was Enoch. So they had to have Enoch speak on their behalf to the angels who were still righteous as a judge and jury. It was a court in so many ways. They were, they had to speak. Enoch was basically their lawyer. And going to God and saying, look, they're repenting, this, that, and the fifth, and God is like, No, I already got that. No, this is their judgment. This is, you know, there is no coming back from this. They really went. They might as well have did what Lucifer did, but they went a little too far. So
Okay, by having intercourse, meaning,
mhm.
of course, you know, sexual relations, but
Yeah.
also that interspecies relationship with the people on earth, because they were already fallen, you know, okay, so that's the thing. Were they fallen, or were they sent here?
No, they were watchers. They were supposed to look after, you know,
The
mankind.
human,
Yeah, they were,
mankind.
you know, they
Okay.
were just kind of supposed to, but they felt a lot of greed, which is also a lot of things that if you go further back and you go to the Sumerian text and the Babylonian text, if you go further back where with the tablets, they
Mhm,
speak of the Anunnaki and things like that.
mhm.
Throughout history, it's the connection between these stories that we get, that we know the history that we know of what's going on, because they were actually passed down. Now, were things certainly changed, and did names of certain things change, but did the truth of the matter change? Not really.
Right.
So it once again, it all depends on interpretation, and however you deceive on mankind. Some people say 6,000 years. Some people say, you know, 50,000 years. Some people say, you know, a whole millennia before then. You know,
Right.
so it just depends on where you choose to pick up history on that end, where you can kind of tie in to where a lot of these things are being spoken about.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm in a rabbit hole on that now. I won't
Yeah,
go
because
down
I
that.
was gonna say I'm not interested in, you know, like the
I don't
timeline.
want to go down that.
Not right then, not right then, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to go
But I
down
don't
that.
want to hog up all the questions. Harry Al Forrest, y'all got any questions or comments?
Yeah, a couple of comments, I guess. First of all, the passage that was just read, does that, that's talking about when Enoch was actually taken up into heaven. And from what am I right about that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that kind of explains what you just said about the angels and their disobedience. To me, it tells me that's why Enoch was taken up to as an negotiator. I know I don't guess that's the right word, but anyway, he was there to plead the case of the angels that were on earth that had disobeyed God.
Mm-hmm.
And reading all of this, what it brings to mind to me is some of what's going on in our society today, where certain elements of society don't want to teach about the history of slavery. And this book of Enoch, to me, is like that part of the Bible, or the part of the early scholars and prophets being, and he's one of the ones that they didn't want to listen to, because he was giving them the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so to speak. And that's why they don't want it to be a part. I mean, and to me, it's just silly. I mean, because if you don't know, and I don't mean you have to take it all in, but if you are aware of what's going on and what has been happening and all with people, you better understand them. You may not agree with them, but you can better understand them, and
Right.
it saves a lot of aggravation.
Yeah. Well, well, definitely, Miss Harriet, you it's February. Of course, you know, you tickle my fancy, you know, they're gonna say loud. But, you know, but in that same sense, it is very, you know, peculiar that we are still connecting those dots towards not only just us as people, but to people in general, to not only just keep, you know, one illiterate, but to lie and say I'm keeping one illiterate and keeping one thinking that they are smarter than the other and they all depend on me. So, you know, they're all waiting for me to build this ark to save them all, and I'm packing this up for me.
Right.
You know, so you know, I already got my guest list. So I mean, it is that very point of view of it, and what I find once again curious of it is that we're speaking of Enoch, and we know through what we know from the Bible as far as to get to his legacy. We know the genealogy. If you've ever studied the genealogy of Genesis,
Mhm.
get to, you know, Enoch, which is, you know, Noah's, you know, grandfather, etc. You know,
Great grandfather.
yeah, great grandfather. You know, and go and then you got Methuselah and all them. When you get to that point, you have to look at it and you got to go, well, wait a minute. I mean, Moses. I mean, Noah was like 955. But Methuselah, he owed me $5. So he ain't going nowhere. You know, I mean, so if you look at these lineages, and there are also tablets, you know, in archaeology that say that these kings lived these long lineage of these years, and however you interpret it. But what strikes me funny about it is that the lineage still is the lineage that if you follow it originally, it still goes through where you get Jesus.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and
Hey.
it's always that that bloodline of Seth. It's never that bloodline of Cain. Or did I lose anyone?
No, I'm listening.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know?
listening.
Yeah, it's always that, you know, you get that bloodline coming from that bloodline of Seth. You never get that bloodline coming from the bloodline of Cain. There's not a martyr, and we already know, you know, that the bloodline of Cain was supposed to survive and did. So
No,
as
I didn't know that it survived.
yeah,
Because when after Cain slew Abel, God
Sent him to the land of
punished
Nod.
him. Yeah, but he also said that he was not to be killed. And
Right, but didn't God cause a flood? And you know who were the evil? Who were the unrighteous ones?
so
the
therefore
ones that weren't on the ark.
so there we go.
That's what
There
I'm
we
saying.
go.
So were they
There we go,
Cain?
Penn. So there we go, Penn. I'm right there with you. So there you go with that question as far as, well, who were the evil ones and who were these wicked ones who were not, you know, angels or anything, but they were these wicked people. So yeah, you know, it was I don't think
But we didn't learn that in this one, right? In this last chapter.
Well, as far as the wicked ones, when we were speaking of earlier in the wicked ones, I don't think that they, you know, could corrupt that bloodline of Seth. I think they could only corrupt that bloodline of Cain. My only hypothetical thing,
What
you know,
mhm.
they could only enter into the wicked women or that bloodline because they were already cursed. You know, there was a curse on earth before.
Right.
So I think these are the things that Enoch is tying in together for us to understand where
Mhm.
we get a lot of these not naive, well, being naive or being taught because someone said a this. If you don't go back and understand where the curse came from and how it came along, you can't call these people these people.
Right.
So that kind of balances that out. We know who the wicked people are now.
Mhm.
Thanks with Penn speaking on that, and we're all speaking on the bloodlines. So, and we know who the Nephilim are, and we know who their children are. Well, we know the Nephilim are the children of the
Of the
Watchers,
Watchers.
of the Watchers,
And the earthly women.
and the earthly one.
Right,
Now,
right,
now, once again, I don't think these are the earthly women who are in that bloodline of Seth. This is the bloodline of Cain.
right.
I mean,
Okay.
I don't think that bloodline could be contaminated that way because they were
Right.
they're still coming from righteousness, where the rest of the people were.
Right. Okay.
So
Okay.
if you all would like to go to another chapter, or in Force, if you want to step in. Oh, did we lose Force?
Well, I still got a couple more questions.
Oh, okay.
I'm not ready to go yet. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Hey, I'm in my class. Can I call you right back? All right. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm in my class. Yeah, that probably was why I was young. All right, bye-bye. Okay. Okay, so now when they're talking about, okay, so Enoch gets, thrust into the chambers of the great glory. And and one of the things that they talk about houses, portals, fire and water. They mention a throne. So, but they mention fire a lot. So what is fire? What does fire represent? Is it just basically energy? Is it like enlightenment? What is fire here?
Isn't it a cleanser?
Yeah, it is a cleanser.
Well, it was a magic at that point in time. I mean, me personally, to think about it in the way that you just said it, Penn. And once again, I'm learning just the same as you all are.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're not an authority? I thought you was the authority of everything about Enoch.
I wish. But I think when you're speaking of fire, first of all, back then, fire had to be something that was, I mean, really obtainable. I mean, it was important. Fire, the elements are the things that are important before gold or silver or anything. You can have as much as gold as you are, but the richest man in the world can start a fire if the lights cut out.
Right.
If you can rub two sticks together, and so fire wasn't a thing that I don't think was common. And even if it was common at that point in time, once again, I don't want to go down that type of rabbit hole. If it was common at that point in time, it was common. It was destructive. The people who were really using it and really didn't know, they were burning. Very similar to what, once again, like Miss Harriet was saying, I'm gonna piggyback off of you. Very similar to what we see going on in the rainforests. We know they don't have to burn all that land to for a bunch of cows to make farmland, but it's the money, so a society. So with the teachings of the Watchers and the Nephilim, was born a society that was chaos.
Okay, so you know, so we seeing this fire as like a cleanser, it's consumption, like where you know it's consume everything. But here, because it is around, you know, it's like the floors are like made out of, you know, the ceilings are like made out of fire, you know, the walls, you know, everything kind of fire represents all of these things. So it's also kind of like dang on, I just had the word for it just in my head just a second. They're like cleanser, consumption. So it's you know, like it's contained, like so, and like you were saying, you know, because the way that, you know, when people thought of fire, even at that time, it could be so destructive, but because all of this, the ability to be destructive, it was all contained. So it was like safe, you know, but it was frightful at the same time. Okay, okay. So I guess it's kind of this, it is just like you're saying, we're talking about, you know, today's societies where we are, you know, we are being so destructive, but, you know, there is no containment of it. You know, it's really kind of like out of control because, you know, it's because, you know, like I said, you know, ran around the throne of glory, all of the, you know, if in order for a fire to be, you know, that type of energy to be the floor, the walls, the ceiling, you know, that's like that box, that cube.
Yeah.
You know, that is, you know, that it's also, you know, like surrounds. So, but what we're experiencing now, it is kind of like out of control. We can't contain it.
Yeah. And it's a fire that's, and when you do speak of it in that manner, I'm looking at it from that point of view, as well as that it's a fire that we all possess inside of us. But if we do not know how to control it, and we're just passing it along, that's what spreads that's what a wildfire is.
Right,
you know, versus that this is a flame that is being controlled, like you were saying, mentally. Like I am, you know, you are in a higher vibration where you can control not only fire but water, which I know is the next one that we're going to speak on as well.
They mentioned water, house, and I'm assuming house would be kind of like, you know, our like consciousness, you know, like your consciousness is usually, you know, the place you live, where you're aware of your consciousness, what might be house, and portal. I would also like to know about portal too.
Well, once again, I'm asking those same questions. Is this, once again, I keep running away from that rabbit hole because I don't want to be like, okay, little green men came from out of the space and we have that conversation. I mean, we can have that conversation. I don't mind.
Well, I'm not gonna say, I'm not ruling anything out right now. You know, I'm not ruling anything out.
But in that same sense, before I have that conversation, I want to have a conversation that we don't necessarily have about the ability of us just being us.
Right.
And the power that we have. So as far as a portal or in things like that, imagine even if there was a crazy society that of a bunch of Cain's people wilding out, losing their mind and creating a whole bunch of things that the Watchers taught them. You know, ingenuity, they flying all through the streets and stuff. Their pollution would be nowhere near our pollution, dating back and looking at archaeology history, because they built with bricks and real fire. That, you know, the worst case scenario, they chop down a lot of big trees. You know, imagine the difference of the oxygen in the air. Imagine the difference of the nitrogen. Imagine how healthy the plants were without, you know, pesticides, because you know, things like that. So you kind of have to incorporate all that into looking at a society from that point of view. So imagine having those qualities in a person, and then also imagine being aware that of a different vibration where you can open your third eye. So going into your house in that standpoint, metaphysically, can be, opening your third eye and doing the meditation where you do astral plane. Your physical body may be, here, but I mean, imagine how clean the earth was at that point in time, even though they were doing some wild stuff. I mean, he could have burnt us up. We already know about fire. He chose water to drown. I mean, he could have burned everything up. I mean, so I mean, it's the way of the aspect of it, and how we look at it, the way history goes, and to me personally. But I do believe that it was something that was given to us. It was a vibration that was given and being passed along where we could reach still at that point in time. Things change after the flood, which which is what we're kind of building our way up to. I don't
Right.
Things changed after that.
But right now, Enoch is still in heaven. Was it heaven, or did it have an S? Was it plural? I can't remember now.
I'm not sure. Did he
I'm
say
not
heaven?
sure. I can't remember.
I think they said S. I think it was the heavens. But
Yeah, I wish I could remember. Do you remember, Harriet? Was it heaven singular or was it plural?
I don't remember.
I can't remember. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. That's just me. That's my own personal private rabbit hole.
See, I tell you that's the fun thing about it'll take you.
Is there more than one heaven? I say, is there more than one? I mean, is there a plural for heaven?
I think so. I think heaven means higher consciousness.
Okay.
And there's just like one higher consciousness, which is the overall scope of everything, and that's creation itself.
Right.
But I think that we with it where we are right now, we have to ascend from one level of consciousness to another level of consciousness, and we would call those things heaven.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
But that's just my rabbit hole. Y'all don't pay me no attention.
But it makes sense.
Okay, those were my main questions. But except for one, I got to get Harry. You got to look up the word tessellate.
What?
Because that was one of the words that he used. That tessellate. That Enoch tessellated, and I don't know what tessellate means. Tessellate.
And that I think that's a good one to look up.
Okay, spell it for me.
I think it was Tessallated. Tessellated.
I caught that one too, Penn, and I'm thinking like, is that beam me up, Scotty? See, I'm trying to stay away from little green men, but I do know that it was some little green men running around. But I'm not gonna bring that here. That's a different conversation. That's a different argument.
Okay, listen to this.
Okay.
Denoted or characterized by a pattern of repeated shapes, especially polygons that fit together closely without gaps or overlaps. Has either one of you seen spiritual geology? I can't think of what it is. I'll look it up.
Yeah,
and in Gaia.
Yeah, where you get where that
the geometry of spirit
of nature.
right, yeah,
the geometry of nature, where nature follows a certain structure and a certain pattern.
right.
So
And
yeah,
and
I
this,
mean, imagine if they're using imagine if they're using these words, that they, this language where
mhm,
they can do that. That's because tessellate.
Yeah,
tessellated.
tessellated. Can you give me the definition again? I heard you, but Wazian was doing something in the background. So
Okay,
uh,
denoting or characterized by a pattern of repeated shapes,
mhm.
especially polygons that fit together closely without gaps or overlaps.
Kind of
And
like
I mean, when I read that, that was the first thing that I thought about, the geography, the geometry
Geometry.
of, wait, let me check. Jada, let me see.
I know it's just the geometry of nature. What if that was a language?
right. Yes.
What
Yes.
if, I mean, we all know we're not speaking the original languages. That's so, like, imagine, and we're talking way before Jesus.
Right.
We're talking way
Sacred
before.
sacred geometry is what it's called, Andre.
Sacred geometry. And what's
Yeah. Robert Gilbert on Gaia.
Yeah, sacred geometry. Okay.
Mhm.
said Robert who?
Gilbert,
Gilbert.
Robert J. Gilbert. Yeah.
J. Gilbert.
Yeah, they do something with sound. It's a very good documentary where they use frequencies
Mhm.
and like and they let the frequencies take the
Right.
of certain things. So
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Exactly. And also
Exactly.
and geometry comes in because he's using the triangle, the polygon, and I forget now what it calls, where you have two pyramids base to base. What do you call it?
Why y'all want to go there? Y'all gonna make me see y'all go there.
But anyway, each one of them represents earth, wind, fire, and what am I leaving out? Earth, wind, water, and
Water,
fire.
fire, air.
Oh, yeah. And maybe that's why when they talked about fire, they talked about water, they talked about that portal, they talked about the house, but they did not talk about earth, because he had left earth to go to heaven. So he had left that lower consciousness and tessellated, wow, into that those higher realms of consciousness. And I like it that you said that these are all these different shapes, but they're interlocked.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they're all three-dimensional.
Yeah,
they're not flat there.
Right.
Yeah, they're all, that's, and once again, I mean, imagine if they were speaking that type of language.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's
right.
Once again, if they have the power of language, especially, we know that there is a such thing as the power of language, because the power is in the word.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
Imagine if they are speaking in a language that's so close that they can make
it.
Yeah. Which, like, once again, one of my rabbit holes, pyramids and all those things. So, we bonbons and all that good stuff.
So these are the things that are characteristic of, like, those things that are in heaven or the heavens. And Enoch has been sent there, or or called to be there, right? He was
Yeah.
called to be there.
Yeah.
He was taken up, right?
He was taken up.
He was called to be there on the behalf of the Nephilim.
On behalf of the Nephilim.
On behalf of the Watchers.
Of the Watchers, right?
Mhm.
He was called.
So, yeah. So that goes to show mercy.
Yeah.
That's although God is saying, well, y'all know, the great glory is saying, no, I am getting ready to spank these Watchers. They have been very, very bad, but yet the merciful side of that creation is still allowing, mercy to be entered in. So there's always.
Oh, so yeah. Well, with us saying that, if we have time, let's go ahead and knock out that next chapter.
Right.
Because I'm glad that you say that, because this is my God. This is old school God. He ain't playing that. He ain't playing. Nah, no mercy. No Enoch. Go ahead, tell him this is what I'm doing.
All right. Okay, so just do we want? Well, just let me know when to stop.
Okay, well, we'll just go.
Last time we only got a chapter.
Yeah, let's just go by this chapter. I don't think I'm not sure how long it is, but
okay. All right.
I'll keep my eye on the time. I'm glad you all are enjoying.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Fear not, Enoch, thou righteous man and scribe of righteousness. Approach hither and hear my voice. And go say to the watchers of heaven, who have sent thee to intercede for them, you should intercede for men, and not men for you. Wherefore have ye left the high, holy, and eternal heaven, and lain with women, and defiled yourselves with the daughters of men, and taken to yourselves wives, and done like the children of earth, and begotten giants as your sons? And though ye were holy, spiritual, living the eternal life, you have defiled yourselves with the blood of women, and have begotten children with the blood of flesh. And as the children of men have lusted after flesh and blood, as those also who die and perish. Therefore have I given them wives also, that they might impregnate them, and beget children by them, and thus nothing might be wanting to them on earth. But you were formerly spiritual, living the eternal life, and immortal for all generations of the world, and therefore I have not appointed wives for you. For as for the spiritual ones of the heaven, in heaven is their dwelling. And now the giants, who are produced from the spirits and flesh, shall be called evil spirits upon the earth, and on the earth shall be their dwelling. Evil spirits have proceeded from their bodies, because they are born from men, and from the holy watchers is their beginning and primal origin. They shall be evil spirits on earth, and evil spirits shall they be called. As for the spirits of heaven, in heaven shall be their dwelling. But as for the spirits of the earth, which were born upon the earth, on earth shall be their dwelling. And the spirits of the giants afflict, oppress, destroy, attack, do battle, and work destruction on the earth, and cause trouble. They take no food, but nevertheless hunger and thirst, and cause offenses. And these spirits shall rise up against the children of men, and against the women, because they have proceeded from them.
Okay. All right. So let me just say this. So that is saying that there was kind of like what you were, talking about earlier, Andre, when you were saying that, the Nephilim, because it did says that some wives were given to some of the watchers. It sounded like some wives were given, but some people, some of the watchers took wives for themselves. So when you take something for yourself, you don't necessarily know the full value of it, meaning you don't know what can come out of it. You know, what you
So
gonna,
the fun thing with the serpent is, how does this,
what you gonna make from it, you know? So, and then the other thing that I kind of got from that chapter is that it is through the bloodline. It is through the bloodline. So okay, so I guess now the rabbit hole is, why do they have blood? You know, why do the watchers have blood so that they can have a bloodline? Are they that much like akin to us? You know, or I guess because I had never thought of angels having babies. You know, never thought about that.
Like I said,
So,
welcome to my world, like little green men running around.
right. So
But where I thought the angels were sexless.
well, this is what I'm catching from canon, and this is just me once again. This is me piecing certain things together. If you are a spiritual being and you choose to fall,
Oh, so then you become
you can choose,
either man or a woman.
yeah, you can choose that way.
Oh, okay.
Now, that's me, once again, that is me piecing certain things together, and that is me piecing certain things together going, okay, there were certain rewards that spirituality gave certain beings to say, okay, you can do this. Now the other part of it that I look at is once again that there were this is a lot older than where we come from and what we think, and there were certain things that going on where the world that we know it as of today is not the world that was then. It really connected with us. It connected with anything because it was a lot more healthier and a lot more spiritually charged compared to what has gone throughout the centuries. You know, the earth is 6.9 billion years old according to us.
right.
But we all can say that it's a living being. It's not the same spring chicken it was, 2 billion years ago.
Mhm.
Especially with the type of creatures that we are that are on it at this point in time. So it's that way. But once again, a rabbit hole I don't want to go down. It's
But they made a
just,
choice though.
but the choice, yeah. And
They
that's
made
the
a
thing.
choice.
The choice was to say, we're gonna do this. If you remember in the original text with the original fallen angels, they go to Mount Hermon and they make a pact and say, look, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna make this deal, we all gonna fall together. It's not gonna be you gonna fall next week. No, we're gonna do this now. So there was a stint of a relation, but I think it was a hierarchy. And I think once again, spiritually greed, in this point of view, and just in this point of view, spiritually greed always takes over. So if someone is rewarded, someone also, the same people who are rewarded are mad. There's 3 people that's mad because they weren't,
Mhm.
you know. So you win first place, you still got second, third, and fourth place that's looking at you like, yeah, good job. But they don't really care.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, their goal is to do that. So corruption not only happened, once again, corruption not only, I believe, not only happened with us, but happen with the universe, with everything. I think when corruption happened, it was something that was brought in and kind of did that counterbalance that kind of
Right.
needed, I guess. I don't want to say it's needed. I don't think any evil is needed, but a counterbalance is always needed.
Mhm.
So
Because when you look at this, when you look at things, like Kabbalistically, you're seeing, because the whole point of Kabbalah is that there is the top, but in order for all of it to be nurtured, it goes from the top down to the bottom, and then it comes back up again. So
Mhm.
that's how all things are like nurtured. So it's not so much that there's like evil, but when you're falling, there's fear comes in.
yeah.
And whenever there's fear, then there has to be a balance, like you said, a balance or a counterbalance to something to offset that fear. So,
Hmm.
and all of the things that, like the Nephilim that the Watchers were creating, those are the things that are in relation to that fear of of that fall.
Hmm.
So now they have created greed, because of abundance. You know,
Hmm.
now they have created, I don't know, sexual immorality, instead of wholesomeness.
Hmm.
So there has to be a balance in, for positive and negative to like survive. If
Hmm.
that's if
And yeah, yeah, I'm with you. I'm glad that you saw it that way. You know, it's the means of society. No society has ever gone down with, you know, just said, all right, y'all, we done. Pack it up. It's always gone down in a fight, in a war, and
chaos.
and we're talking about societies that are way more advanced than what we are,
Mhm.
because they were closer to a source that we are still trying to
To-
either get to or run away. So
Mhm.
we are in that point of view where we're in that point of view of that counterbalance, and
As above, so below.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So it's not taking blame off of what humans do to what other humans do to other humans. It's taking blame that, this is how time in the universe and creation molded itself to understand itself.
Mhm.
Now the creator is something different from that. So just seeing it from that point of view is cool. But like
Mhm.
I say, so many different rabbit holes we can go down with Enoch. Um, and one reason why it was always, why we don't have it in a modern Bible, as far as, Penn has explained to us that we can only, find it in the Ethiopian Bible. It was something that was looked upon to tell you that really do not look for inner strength.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, because we want you to do like we tell you to do.
We
We
want
don't want
to
you to we don't want you going out there trying to tessellate nothing.
yeah, we ain't even gonna tell y'all about what the Nephilim and them did. We just want you to know that we the Nephilim.
Right. Or that we are,
We built the pyramids. We gave you society. We found money, we did this. And people have been doing these things, way beyond, way beyond languages and different cultures. People have been getting along way longer than at one point people in time were getting along way longer than they were fighting.
right. Yeah.
Andre, you said something a little bit earlier that kind of piqued my interest, and it has flown the coop. We'll get back to that. Go ahead. Oh,
Well,
I mean, once again, like I say, this rabbit hole will, and it'll come back, Miss Harry. It'll come back, and you'll be like, "That's what it was."
that's what it was.
Write it down, and definitely, you are a subscriber of Gaia. Check my information out. I'm not saying anything that these people that these scientists are not saying in some shape, form, or fashion. I just think it's easier for me to balance it on two different ways, spiritually and then scientifically, and well, history wise, because
and it just came back.
Okay.
What? No, you said something about being more enlightened, more informed, and are you talking about ancient societies compared to today's society? Because I think you're absolutely right on that, Ken.
Once again, I don't think that you have to kind of be in tune with this society, because it's something that you have to walk through in time in general.
You mean today's society?
Yeah, today's society.
Okay.
In today's society, I don't think that you have to necessarily find yourself in a niche where you in tune to it, because no matter what, you have to walk through this time and while you're on here, so you're gonna have to adapt to it in some shape, form, or fashion.
Right. Because I get the impression that so many in our society today seem to think that people of ancient times were not that intelligent. And that's why what you said caught my attention, because I thoroughly believe they were just as wise, just as smart, just as intelligent, just as any of those superlatives.
Yeah,
Superlatives.
Those are the things that we're fighting about.
They just didn't necessarily have the same tools that we have today in order to accomplish, certain things.
I mean, of course, they were smart. They rented their tools from Mars and said, "All right, you know what? We're gonna rent our tools from Mars and send everybody back." And then Mars died, and they was like, "Okay, that's it." But no, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. We're not taught. But the thing about it is, that's the thing. We are not taught these things, because to be taught a lot and to understand a region is to take away from a society of control, which is what we're studying with the book of Enoch. The giants are wilding. They eating people. They mad. They crops ain't growing. They got slavery going on. They lazy. They're not doing. You know what I'm saying? They're not doing anything. They're tearing Eden apart. They're tearing the world apart. So what do you do?
But let me ask you a question. And well, I'm just throwing a question out there. Okay, so we got the Watchers. They came. Some of them found their own wives. Some wives were given to them, I think, by creation. But the ones that were well, first of all, it seems like the wives were innocent. It seemed like, everybody who was on earth to kind of start off with, they were kind of innocent because they were put upon. It seemed, they really didn't make choice. Choice wasn't given them. They were either taken as wives or given as wives. So they didn't, so they were really innocent in the whole scheme of the Nephilim being created.
Well, this is that point of view of it, and this kind of brings me to where I bring in myths and legends of Greek mythology, Celtic mythology, where you have beings like Zeus and Thor and things like that. They are the ones who were written to be these gods who seduce these women. Zeus ain't never walk up and say, "Hey baby, what's your phone number?" He turned into a duck and raped you. Like and it was like, "Hey, I'm Zeus. Ha, my bad. I need a little bit there." Zeus, go. I don't pay child support. Send it to Olympus. He's gonna be a great dude, though. He's gonna be a great dude. Poseidon. Poseidon. We hear so many stories about that, and that's what I mean. Like, getting the Book of Enoch always reminded me of like getting the books of Greek mythology and reading the real story of Medusa and what really happened to Medusa. We just know her as, oh man, you look at Medusa, she's the ugliest thing. But if you really go into her story on what happened, she was a loyal priestess.
Mm-hmm.
And
she was the one that had whose hair was snakes, right?
Right.
Yeah, she was a loyal priestess of Aphrodite and Poseidon lusted for her. Make a long story short, Poseidon lusted for her, and she ran into the temple of Aphrodite, and Poseidon, being a bigger god, he went in there and ravaged it and raped her. And she ended up with the punishment, not by Poseidon, but by Athena, who she was the priestess for. And she punished her for being beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So those are those. So if you mix that with the giants of beauty, I'm not saying mix it, me personally,
Right.
This is me personally. You mix these myths and legends with what we're hearing from these scriptures, and you can look and you can see that, yeah, I'm not saying everything was true fact, but
it transcended. Mm-hmm.
It's a trend, yeah.
One culture to another culture.
It's just like the game of gossip that you used to play in school. You whisper something into one person's ear, and by the time it gets to the last person in the chain, what that person says is so foreign to what was first said that it's not even recognizable.
Yeah. Or it's taken in his doctrine because people can control people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We do have people who have the gift of gab and the gift of convincing, and do not always see their gift in a way of unification. They only see it for a self-indulgence.
Divisive reasons. And only if it benefits them.
You know, so therefore there's the question. I mean, there's the question. How could, even when you get to the flood, which I don't want to get to, but even if you know these things are going on, who's not tainted by this negativity, because it's now the control. You know, the Nephilim, you know, these giants have control of everything. You know, which is very simple. What can we do without the internet right now? Could we actually have this conversation, all three of us on a house phone on three-way?
No. Maybe.
Maybe, but you know.
Yeah. You know, you know, so there is ingenuity in birth, but it's also corruption, because they've corrupted the earth. Once again, that's why it was spoken. Wait a minute, y'all took this through blood.
Right.
You know, I gave certain, you know, people to certain people. Some people got a job to do, you know, to keep the people's, you know, to keep the people's spirit. But y'all chose to do this on your own. That's a very heavy way to look at it. You know, I mean, if you're an angel and you can still defy God.
Well, I guess that's why they kind of like fell. I mean, you know, you fall from one level of consciousness, because at one level of consciousness, everything is, and there's no need for self, you know, whereas another level of consciousness is where, you know, that whole concept of ego comes in, self comes in. I was getting ready to say something like I can't remember what it was, but anyways, kind of goes along with you know, there's that feminine energy that was innocent, you know, that feminine energy that was innocent, along with a masculine energy that was knowledgeable. And when I say knowledgeable, meaning that they have more knowledge than of a plan, where innocence didn't necessarily have a plan, you know.
Versus, I know what you mean, like a 40-year-old man dating an 18-year-old woman. They don't make, you know, you can't do, you are a lot more.
Right, because the watchers already knew or had the knowledge that if they had intercourse with this innocence, this feminine energy of innocence, it was going to create something else.
It was a responsibility. It was a responsibility that you were not also not a doctrine to, because I do think also in that scripture that we were listening to, that what was being said by God to Enoch was, tell them that I begot you all wives. You all needed, because you were created from blood, flesh, and things like that. They were created from light. They needed or wanted not for nothing. They chose that, versus you had no choice, because I created you to do that. They chose to have what you had. And I think that's a very good point, Pen. I'm gonna have to look that one up to see, you know, is that was the point of a rift between human and angelic kind, while we were speaking on that a while ago, because it was what we could do that they had to suffer more for them to be able to do.
Right, because first of all, they could not create. obviously, because they would have had their own Nephilim up there in heaven. They had to come
Yeah,
down.
they would have reproduced. Yeah,
They would have
reproduced
reproduced. Yeah.
between each other. So it was something that they were not supposed to do. Period. You know, they were not. So I'm not sure if it's the physical act that they weren't supposed to do, but they were not supposed to reproduce, or they could not, and they found a way to do that. Which, like I say, is a lot. Which has a lot to do with the Anunnaki and things like that. Once again, I don't want to go down, but the
But we'll
Sumerian,
get to that one day.
yeah, but the Sumerian texts, I want to say the Sumerian texts and the Babylonian texts are older, and the Epic of Gilgamesh is older than the story of Noah.
Mhm.
And we know that these texts were found in the land of Ur, which is where we originally know that Abraham comes from. So a lot, a lot of,
Right.
it's a lot of history that you have to piece together. And a lot of this history is not going to be taught that way, because why teach that so hard when I can teach you to walk across the street?
Mm-hmm. Right.
and then walk back across the street. I'm not going to tell you that there's a whole different world out here for you. So basically, that's kind of what we're dealing with as far as today mentally, with what we're dealing with the Nephilim.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, the powers to be are scared to lose their seat of power, and they're scared for anyone to go after their seat of power or leave their kingdoms, because it's more out here.
Right, right. So they would rather rape and defile innocents to keep their creation going.
That's why they had to go to Enoch and say, Enoch, please tell God we
are sorry. That was really dumb.
We screwed up. Please. Oh, we messed up. We ain't know that.
But when you think about it, and just like you were saying, Andre, and it's 3:30, so 3:30 if we want to, 3:27. So if we want to do another one, because they seem to be kind of short, it's just us that takes, it's just us that do a lot of talking. But I was saying that if one of the things is that if we learn how to allow things to be peaceful, because and allow innocence to be what innocence is, and allow things just to be as they are, without trying to control and to stay in control.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I know that was kind of getting away, so let
No,
me go to the next.
You were right there. You were right there.
Do y'all want to you want to go do the next one real quick? The next chapter.
If we have the time.
I think. Well, it's 3:30. You think we have the time?
We got started a little bit late. So
yeah. Okay.
Chapter 16. From the days of the slaughter and destruction and death of the giants, from the souls of whose flesh the spirits, having gone forth, shall destroy without incurring judgment. Thus shall they destroy until the day of the consummation, the great judgment, in which the age shall be consummated over the watchers and the godless, yea, shall be wholly consummated. And now, as to the watchers who have sent thee to intercede for them, who had been aforetime in heaven, say to them, you have been in heaven, but all the mysteries had not yet been revealed to you. And you knew worthless ones, and these in the hardness of your hearts you've made known to the women. And through these mysteries, women and men work much evil on earth. Say to them, therefore, you have no peace. Enoch's journeys through the earth and Sheol.
Oh, wow. So that's just what we were talking about.
Man, I told you, this that OG God. Nah, you tell them they have no peace. Y'all will kill. I will let y'all battle each other and kill each other out, and even then, you will have no peace.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You will not see heaven.
And when you think about it, sometimes even within your own ego sense, because this is where I'm just looking at this metaphysically, even through your own ego sense, there are some things that we have created that, they just can't get into the heavens. If you have, I don't know, been whatever type of addiction that you might have had, you can't allow that addiction to continue because of how it destroys, and because of how it controls, and because of how it wants to make other little addictions. So this has to be eradicated. There can be no mercy for it. It has to go, and we can't look at it as if there's some, it has to go. What they say is there's going to come a day of consumption. It's going to be all consuming.
Yeah.
Okay, I can. Do you want to go on a little bit? That was Enoch's journeys through the, or do we want to stop here?
Y'all. I mean, Miss Harry, do you have any questions or comments or anything at this point in time?
No, because I find all of this very fascinating, and what keeps crossing my mind is, why was this important information denied us?
Okay.
Because to me, basically, as a historian, because I love history, and to me, the truth of what goes on is not today's writer interpreting something that somebody said thousands and thousands or hundreds of years ago. The truth is from the perspective of the people who actually lived it. And notice I said from the perspective of and each individual has a different perspective as to what they're seeing or what they're experiencing and how they feel about it. And I just feel like to leave out documentation written by scholars, written by man, because that all of this was written by man. They say it was inspired by God, and I don't have any reason to doubt that. But it was inspired by God, and you take it from the perspective of your own personal experiences. Two people looking at the same rainbow, standing in two different positions, are going to see that rainbow differently. And this is what I'm like I said, my question is, why is this important information left out? Because of the egos of these individuals that are doing the writing or that are compiling this, those that are call themselves the know-it-alls.
Well, once again, that is that part of history, and I suggest you definitely, if you really want to understand that part, which I'm pretty sure you're familiar with, Ms. Harry, which is the Council of Nicaea.
I can't say I know what you're talking about, but I can't say that I'm that familiar with it, and I need to revisit it.
Well, yeah, I mean, originally the Council of Nicaea,
Mhm.
when when Constantine decided that he was going to say that Rome was a Christian religion and that was going to be that, and they were going to take upon popes and bishops and saints and martyrs and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And once that went on, it became it became a religion that what Rome was used for.
Mhm. To
One thing
control
about
and
it,
rule.
well, yeah, one thing about it is this, and we listen to these stories, and this is why I personally, I can only speak to this personally, you all, when I speak to this, and it's YouTube, and I know I talk too much sometimes, um,
It's okay.
but I'm passionate about these things because I don't look at it in where people says that, oh, Rome fell in 38 BC. Rome never fell. Rome ain't go nowhere. Rome just changed its name. Rome ain't got some new clothes. Uh, Rome didn't go anywhere. So I mean, and I'm not saying it in a bad way, because there's good and bad in everything,
Yin and yang.
Mhm.
but a lot of these things that people are seeing and they're going, this is unprecedented. This been going, man, where the hell have you been?
Wait,
This has been
really?
going on. This has been going on forever. You're not the first. You're not the first Fox News. You just the first Fox News in America. They had an Egyptian Fox News one time.
Mhm.
They got chisels of everybody business in rocks. People, we've been doing this. It surprises me to hear these things. That like,
Walls of the pyramids. Walls of the
yeah.
pyramids. This story is being told. I mean, learn. What I'm saying is, give me the facts based on the person that was actually there that experienced it.
You would be surprised how many people are scared of history.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter about race, color, or creed. You would
Right.
be surprised,
Mhm.
and especially in America, you will be surprised how many people are really scared of history.
Mhm.
Aren't we seeing that now?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's just like Andre said, because we live history. What
Exactly.
we're doing today is going to be history 100 years from now. They're
Exactly.
going to see this. They're going to see these things as history. But I think that if we are still seeing only from a vantage point of lack,
Today. Mhm.
well, I'm just thinking of lack in general, or fear. If we're
Mhm.
seeing it only from a vantage point of fear, like these watchers were doing. They the ones that drag Enoch up there. Enoch minding his own business. Next thing you know, he up in the heavens. He's scared to get.
pleading their case.
What the hell is
He's scared, so he's so afraid that he can't. He don't know whether he's awake or not.
he don't know what's going on.
All fire everywhere. Fire on the
Mhm.
ceiling,
Water,
fire on the floor,
water
fire everywhere.
I mean, he on the worst acid. He on the first acid trip.
Oh man.
He don't know what's going on, and all. But like I say, they cannot speak to a higher being. They could not even speak to their fathers, who were higher beings.
Yeah, what was that about? What is, I mean, is that that level of consciousness where, oh golly, and I just looked at something on, you know, the Kabbalah. There's this thing, I think there's a thing called a veil, but it's something else. I want to say it's a cap. So it's something that you can't rise above, and you can't communicate with the above, because you know you don't have, you know, I
got
guess
that clearance.
we're too low so that we can't reach it.
And that's where you get your Buddhas, and that's where you get your Jesuses, and that's where you get, you know, these great people who could, you know, transcend that vibration. I argue with people, going a little bit of ahead of where we're talking about. I argue with people over this a lot. They go, well, you know, Jesus is a Jew. Jesus is also a Nazarite.
Right.
What makes him a Nazarene? The only other Nazarene that is spoken of in the Bible is Samson. Whose mother was barren, and he was supposed to be the justice. He was supposed to be justice. So therefore, like, this has not been, and if you add the book of Enoch upon this is not anything that hadn't been going on. They just did what they were supposed to do. They didn't have the clearance to do what they did. They took it to a whole different level. You know, I think if we, you know, and I think that's the difference between what they did and what the first war that we speak of, that everyone is scared of in heaven, which is the devil, for lack of a better word. He never consummated, he never did anything like that. He kept his light. That's why it's so easy for him to do what he do. They can't, they're shamed. You know, so it's two different, and this is, once again, this is me looking at it from that point of view by just interpreting Enoch and reading these scriptures, you know, and looking at the history of it. It's a lot more going on. It's a lot more going on, and no, that cannot be known, because that can give you the freedom to say that, yeah, what you do want and how you manifest it, you can. No one will have to be servants. No one will have to go to work. It will actually be utopia. But you can't have that. You can't have that.
Right. And you know, and when you think about it, when just by looking at, because the thing that had, you know, and still, I'm not gonna say I'm finished with it, but I still have a difficult time understanding these cast of characters. So if you're, you know, I guess, you know, Bishop Pope, you know, Pope somebody, you know, 19, you know, or Pope somebody number 3, and now you don't want those people to look at the Watchers as if they were evil, because the Watchers were absolutely the bad guy.
No, because they are because I am the Pope.
Right.
Exactly. I am the Pope, and therefore the power is evil. Power corrupts. Absolute power absolutely corrupts.
Right. And so they don't want the regular populace, the people that, you know, are keeping them in control. They don't want them to be able to see that fact, that truth is that, you know, hey, look, you know, y'all got feet made of clay. And if you know, and y'all gonna mess around, and we're gonna need an Enoch around here.
Exactly. The only reason y'all run around here with all that gold is because I just sold my wife earrings for 3 Hail Marys.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
You know,
and wasn't that your choice?
No,
but that's the point of
No.
it. If it's naivety, and once
Yeah.
again, we're speaking history at that point in time, where even the people that we're speaking of that came over to America, you know, did not get the Bible.
With one exception.
You know, they didn't have Bibles in their houses. You know, they did not have Bibles, and they went to church. They didn't have Bibles in their houses because their
Right.
pastor, you know, it took a long time for people to have Bibles in their houses.
Yeah, it was expensive. A book?
Well, first of all, according to history, they couldn't read, so why have one?
Exactly.
Mhm.
And that's the thing. So it won't just that Black people couldn't read. It was that white folks weren't allowed to read either.
Right, everybody.
Most of them couldn't.
The poor,
Mhm.
the poor, the
Or read
rich, and not all of the rich either, because they didn't educate a lot.
No, they couldn't
Yeah.
read. No, they could not read either.
Mhm,
A
a lot of them, yeah.
chose not to read.
Mhm.
And also they also chose not to necessarily teach the women to read.
Or
It was
second son. Or that second or third son. Why send
yeah,
them?
he had to prove himself.
Yeah, why send
Yeah,
them?
he had to go to war. You're going to war.
What you need a book for? You don't need a book for that. You know, so yeah. But it is fascinating. It is fast. Oh, it's 3:46. But it is fascinating to think that, you know, there's nothing new under the sun.
That is so true.
There's nothing new under the sun. I mean, all of this stuff that we just went through today that I had found so confusing, because I picked up the book of Enoch before and I didn't know what it was saying. It wasn't telling me anything, so I closed it up because and I just put it on the shelf. Put it on the shelf because hey, it's a nice book to have. I mean,
just like Course in Miracles.
Hey, what? I got the book of Enoch. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, yeah. So, but now that I'm able to, have a group of friends, and I guess this is the round table, so I guess I'll go first.
Right.
I got a group of friends who can sit here with me and dissect it to the point where I'm grasping some information. And I know that there's a whole lot more to this that, we're just kind of getting what we're getting. But so I guess, we're really getting that milk that first baby milk from the breast is really just basically water. So, but it has so much nutrients in it, So this is that early lactation that babies get that build a foundation on their health forever. So now that we have, so this is what I'm seeing here that you and I, that what we're doing is that we are allowing ourselves that nurturing. We're allowing ourselves to say, okay, here's a nutritional building block that I had been missing. I didn't even know I was missing it.
Another nutrient.
Right, another nutrient. And so I guess for me, the thing that I feel that I can get out of this is that I know that I am in the right place in the right time in history, in the place in the world. I'm not out of step. I'm not out of time, because this whole thing has been going on forever. And it will continue to go on forever. But so that, I know that I am, when I choose to let my light shine, that my light is bright and my light is in its proper place. And I don't have to fear anything. I don't have to fear the future. I don't have to be in regret of the past. I can, maintain where I am at this moment, knowing that I am in the I'm in the right place in the right time.
Well, since we're talking about the round table, and now Penny, you used nutrition as the analysis, I guess, for yours. And what I'm seeing is it's just another brick
Mm.
in the foundation that I'm building as far as my spiritual journey is concerned. And I am thoroughly enjoying this whole journey. I'm loving it, every minute of it, because like I said, it's helping me to better understand myself, to strengthen the spirit within me. And I'm just thrilled. That's all.
Well, what about you, Andre?
Well, I'm glad y'all went first, because this was me hosting this, and I hope I did a good job for y'all,
You always do.
and y'all appreciate
We
the
thank
knowledge
you.
and you know, just the ideas I try to bounce off of everyone. I was just thinking about it, and I'm in awe right now because I kind of can feel where Enoch was when we just read the last passage, and just to see flames and be able to go, ooh, and be able to go, they can't hurt you. And
Mhm.
and you're respected because you know that it's respect. And as long as you hold that respect, these flames and this fire won't burn you because you are in the right step. And so it's kind of it just kind of just struck me. So I'm kind of seeing that, and just grateful that I'm able to spread this and also speak so much of not only just the history of what we're learning from Enoch, but to be able to spread it into American history, um, Muslim history, you know, African history, wherever we can go, you know, and the things that we all know. So I'm just glad that I have the same thing, that we're all at this table together, and we got a good glass fire table when we start this. So now we understand that while we like, ooh yeah, this is hot. And we understand, oh yeah, this hot right here. Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
okay.
hot.
Ooh.
Yeah, everything was on fire today. I gotta agree with Enoch.
Yeah,
Walls were on
everything-
fire, the ceiling, the floor.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
I think we really, you know, took a step above and understood this and be able to see it in the way that we can incorporate it. So
Mhm. Yeah,
thank
Yeah,
you, thank
yeah.
you all for
Thank you.
thank you. Yes, thank you. But this is really good. I look forward to doing this, and we're gonna keep this. What is this? This is the third Saturday, right?
Third Saturday, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we're gonna keep this on the third Saturday for a while anyway.
Okay.
Because you know, this is really, I think this is really important. It's just like, you know,
It
Harry, I was
is.
saying, I'm really sorry that, you know, this isn't readily available to everybody.
Mhm.
Everybody should be able to know this information and to be able to see it, you know.
Exactly. And
But
it's
you,
up to them whether they choose to adhere to it, believe it, or not, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. But I do agree that you do need help with it. It's,
Yeah.
well, I do. I'm not gonna say you because I,
Mhm.
you know, all I
No,
know is
no,
that
we
I,
all do. That's
Oh,
why we
yeah,
have this discussion. We
yeah,
all
yeah.
do.
One reason why, you know, I'm doing it off the video is
hmm,
because I rather for someone else to talk, because I'm catching it too. Like,
right,
you
hmm,
know, I've read what I've read, and I've been in tune to where I've been in tune, but I'm trying to catch it too and digest it from like you were saying. Yeah, man, you got the book of Enoch. Yeah, I got it. All right, black man, all right, black man, black man, black man, black man. You
Oh.
know,
Yeah.
it don't got a crease in it. It don't got no highlights or nothing
No,
in it.
and
You know.
in my book of Enoch, it's got highlights in it, but they not mine. I got it from a secondhand bookstore.
See,
They're not mine. They are definitely not mine.
like you were saying, as far as the tarot cards, sometimes you gotta grab knowledge where somebody else has had, left an imprint, so you can kind of follow. You can kind of find your path.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So we're usually the book of Enoch, until we feel satisfied that we can move on. We'll be studying the book of Enoch for on the
A
third,
while.
a lot. And that'd be on the third Saturdays. So tomorrow, let's see, tomorrow we
so
have,
we got what chapter are we at? Are we?
oh, I got it logged down. We're on Enoch's journey through
Chapter
in
17.
the first journey. And that you say that's chapter 17.
Yeah. Yeah, because we just finished 16.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's chapter 17. So I got it written down so that when we come back next time, we can come back to this next month. And tomorrow we have a Science of Mind with Reverend Sakina. And that's from 2 to 4.
2 to 4.
Mm-hmm. And then let's see, on Wednesday, we have A Course in Miracles.
Mhm.
That's from 5 to 6:30. And that's with Harriet. She facilitates that. Does a wonderful, fantastic job. Then on Thursday morning, we have Forrest. He'll be doing I Am, continuing his study on I Am, and that's at 11 a.m. And then at 7 p.m., 7 to 8:30 on Thursday, we have Sakina. She'll be talking about the introduction to Gnosis. And that's one of the things that you mentioned earlier, is that they were, the Council of Nicaea, Gnosticism was up against, traditional Christianity or Orthodox Christianity. And Orthodox Christianity won. And Gnosticism became heretical, and all of that stuff was cast out because we got the power now. The power structure is over here. To the victor goes the spoils, and this is how we learn like that. So, and as we learn about Gnosticism, we will well, anyway, that's from 7 to 8:30. And then next, I know I don't want to get me down that rabbit hole. Then next Saturday is February the 25th, big number 7 for Inner Haven. Yay, 7 years. 7 years with Inner Haven. So excited about that. And I want to thank everybody who has been with me through our ups and our downs and our evens. But now I can see that path. And that's one of the things that the number 7 does. 7 reveals.
Mm-hmm.
And it's for me, it's revealing Inner Haven's path. And our path is this growth, spiritual growth, to grow out of something and to grow out of our ego sense and grow and put ourselves in alignment with creation. And that's the thing that we express, and that's the thing that we absorb. And we allow that absorption of creation to come in, and that's who we are. Will be all of that. So this is where we are in big number 7. Yay! So I'm so excited. That's going to be from 1 to 3, and it's going to be at Sandra and Ben's home. They're going to host it for us, and we'll get together. And anybody, we'll bring in our own snacks and foods, and like I always say, BYOB. Bring your own food, bring your own bag, so that's how we do over here in Inner Haven. And that's Sunday we have for open discussion. So it's, we'll meet, probably just have, just some, probably just to talk a little bit amongst ourselves. Nothing big. We're gonna keep it really light that next day. Just light and fun, and then we'll move on till March.
Yeah.
And so in March, if anybody has any ideas, anything that they want to, any pressing engagements or classes that they found interesting and they want to talk about or do, we got the whole month of March open. So there's a lot of things that we can do. I was thinking that on March the 11th and 12th, they're having a holistic and spiritual expo in Virginia Beach. And I think I want to go to that one. Also, they will be having one in April. I did find out, Harriet, that the one that's in Newport News, that's one day only. And of course, I didn't write it down. I didn't write it down, but I sent you the email that I got. So check your email, and I think it's only one day, and I don't know. I'm not really sure of how much it costs, but shoot, we can go to that one too if we want to.
Yeah.
We can go to both of them. So the one that's on the 11th, that's it's $20 for 2 days, $12 for 1 day. And I do have, or I used to have, and I don't know what I did with them, because I'm always putting something in a special place. So I have put the tickets on the $1 off tickets in a special place somewhere. So hopefully I will find them before the 11th of March, because they are around here. I thought I had them right here in my notebook, but I put them somewhere special. But that's it for today's class, and thank you all so much. And I will see you all tomorrow. Unless anybody can think of anything else that they want to, mention or talk about.
Just remember that these sessions are being put on YouTube now, and we ask all that are interested to please subscribe, like, and comment.
And thank you so very much, Harriet, for that.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right. Okay.
What?
I'm gonna go push buttons in a minute.
Oh, okay.
I have not subscribed in yet to see.
Oh, well, please do. Yeah.
What do I do? Do I go over Inner Haven?
Yeah, just go to Inner Haven.
And look for the green eye or the white eye on the green background.
Yeah, see this little green circle in the back that has an eye. It has an eye in the middle, right above us. I don't know what's up. Can you see it? Right there, right here where I got where the cursor is.
Oh yeah. Hold on.
Right here.
Up the top in the upper right hand corner.
Upper right hand corner. It's Inner Haven, and it has this little.
Oh, I see it. Yep.
Yeah.
I had to move you around a little bit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. And,
okay.
So yeah, just go to that and check us out. And this is it's fun for us. It's fun for us. We're not looking to make $1 million or get a whole lot of likes or
Oh, of course, but the thing about it, I want to laugh. Yeah. I want to see us. I think we do a great job.
I think so too. And I think that that's one of the things that I want Inner Haven to be, is a place of exploration. I don't know it all. Nobody here knows it all. We're all exploring, and we're all experimenting with what works for us and what doesn't work for us, what will help us to grow, or things that I need to crash this old way of thinking and plant something new here. And this is one of the things that I hope that Inner Haven is for everyone, is that you will be able to open your consciousness up to some new information. You don't have to feel obligated to stick with it. You don't have to feel that you have to be an expert or or knowledgeable in any way to have a conversation about it. And but one of the things I want us to be able to do is become very articulate in what we believe and why we believe it. And I think that these open discussions and the way we dissect information, I think that this is one of the things that will help us be that. So that's it for what we are at Inner Haven. Yeah. So thank you for that, Harriet, because I always forget to to say like and subscribe. So is there anyone who would like to close us out in prayer?
I'll take it.
Okay, go ahead.
Heavenly Father, once again, we come to you with the blessings that we can understand each other, come together, and bring our fire together and control our fire. And understand that when we get together, that you bring us into a higher vibration, a higher mode to understand what not only is going on with us now, but what was going on in the past. You take us to a realm that we can understand and feed us to digest the nutrients that you give us. We understand that we are coming into a different age. We ask you for the strength to not only be a shepherd, but be leaders and be spokesmen for this new age that is coming in with this wisdom. With all this we say, so it is. Peace and blessings.
And so it is.
Peace and blessings.
Okay, everybody. See you soon. Love you.
Love you.
Let's see, where is okay.